back, guys. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Today we're going to be talking about Alaric Jackson, my thoughts on him coming into 2024, what he brings to the table, and how you should feel about him coming into this season. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also be sure to, of course, follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram. Let's dive into it. So Alaric Jackson is going to be the Rams' starting left tackle for a second straight season. Now, he's dealt with some injuries in the past. Last year, however, he was a model of consistency, staying healthy, and playing 15 games of the 17 regular season games. This is somebody who only allowed one sack last year. He had 31 hurries, and he had 7 hits on the quarterback given up. So 39 pressures, not the best in the world, but only one sack, which was a big deal. And that was all the while in 530 pass protection reps. Now, the biggest issue with Alaric Jackson has always been his run blocking, okay? This guy can pass protect. We knew that coming out of Iowa. There's a big reason why he was protecting the blind side at Iowa. And, of course, you had the other big-time tackle there, Tristan Wirfs, was actually protecting the right side. He was the, I won't say better pass protector, but he was definitely a better pass protector than a run blocker, if you will. And, you know, that's something I think he's gotten better with over time, but he's still not great at it. And last year, you know, we kind of saw that. That's why I think Steve Avila is in a great spot to really take off. And really, people are going to get to see what he's really all about at center. I do think he was held back a little bit in that aspect of his game because of who was next to him. But I also don't want to just sit here and act like Alaric Jackson isn't a good football player. He's gotten better every year. They brought him back, restricted free agent, so they brought him back on a tender. You know, this is probably a one-year thing for Jackson. He could play his well into a contract, but the Rams are pretty invested heavily into this offensive line. They signed 2 guys for long-term deals. They also have Rob Havenstein, who they're paying. So the reality is this could be Alaric Jackson's last year as a Ram, but this could also be the start of something special. And he has a chance to solidify himself as the long-term left tackle. And I think if he really does have a great year this year, the Rams are going to give it a shot. They are going to give it a shot to pay him. We'll see what ends up happening. Keep in mind, it's going to be a lot of money. Okay, paying tackles in this climate today, it's going to be upwards $20 million if he's worth paying to begin with. So what to make about Alaric Jackson? Well, we know Joseph Noteboom took a pay cut to stay with the Rams, and he's, you know, well aware of now his goals and, you know, his role. I mean, they're asking him to be kind of the 6th man of this offensive line. He's not going to start, but he very well could fit in any role if anybody goes down with an injury. And we saw that last year. He was kind of Johnny on the spot, guard, tackle, all of that. I do not suspect, unless, of course, there's an injury, which we can't really predict, I do not suspect he's going to take over for Alaric Jackson. I don't see that. And so my thing is, when I'm looking at, you know, Alaric Jackson last year and seeing he only give up 1 sack, yes, he has to work on the pressures. 39 is a lot. But at the same time, this is somebody that's gotten better each year and has limited starting time. You have to understand something, okay? 2022, he didn't play much. Because he was playing well. There were a lot of injuries on the offensive line, and then he had the blood clot, okay? Because he had the blood clot, cost him the rest of the year. And sparingly, since he was signed as a UDFA, you know, he's played here and there. He's started here and there. He's had really good success. But a first full season for him was last year, and he looked good. He was a good starting left tackle. So the question is, can Alaric Jackson ante it up a little bit? How much better can this guy get? And that is going to ultimately decide whether or not he's the Rams' long-term tackle of the future, whether or not he gets paid big bucks. He's currently 25 years old. He will be 26 years old in 4 days, okay? So keep that in mind. He's got great size, 6'7". He's listed at 285. He definitely, in my opinion, plays above 300. And, you know, he's athletic. So I'll say this. Alaric Jackson, his worst game of the year, okay, was against Pittsburgh. It was week 7 against Pittsburgh. He gave up his only sack. He gave up 6 pressures. Down the stretch of the season, 0 against Washington, only 1 against New Orleans, and 3 against the 49ers, okay? So this is definitely somebody who, I mean, let's be honest here. You know, he's been there for the Rams. He's made things happen. And I mean, I'm not going to just sit here and tell you he's perfect and he should be in the Pro Bowl or anything like that. He gave up 2 pressures in the playoff game against, you know, that pass rush that was fierce. Gave up 2 pressures, no sacks, no hits on the quarterback, 2 pressures. Happens, right? 2 hurries. That was 41 pass protection snaps, and they couldn't really run the ball in that game the way they wanted to, of course. So the way I see it with Alaric is this. He's definitely playing for his long-term future, no doubt about it, regardless if it's with the Rams or somebody else. But there is a reason. Back in the day, when the Rams signed him, they gave him more than any other UDFA because they knew he was good enough to be drafted. They liked him in the draft. And, of course, if you fall that far, you know, your agent is probably telling other teams, hey, look, he just wants to be free agent, okay? He doesn't want to get picked in the 6th or 7th round. He wants to choose where he's going to go. He didn't go, you know, early day 3. He didn't go day 2. So at this point, my client just wants to choose where he's going to go. That happens a lot. I think that happened with Alaric Jackson. He chose the Rams. Smart move. Getting to be in the same room as, you know, Andrew Whitworth and Rob Havenstein, 2 veterans that, you know, obviously Whitworth retired and, you know, he's fantastic and everything, but, you know, Rob Havenstein's still there. And just these are 2 outstanding veterans that I've only ever heard good things about. And you know, furthermore, I'll say this. When you are around the offense that Alaric Jackson's around, okay, at 25 years old, you're the left tackle of a team that just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. You're a left tackle, and your job is to make sure Matthew Stafford doesn't get hurt. And you only get let one time where he's actually sacked. That's impressive. So we'll see if he could build off it. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be the next best thing or anything like that, but also don't rule him out and do not sleep on him and start giving him the credit he deserves, because ultimately it's a hard position to play. Okay. There are not 32 starting left tackles. That's the misconception. There are 32 tackles that have to start. Right? You have to have a left tackle starting on each team, all 32 teams, okay? There are not 32 starting tackles, 32 starting caliber tackles, okay? Alaric Jackson is one of those tackles that you can say is definitely starting caliber. So the question remains, he's going to be 26 in 4 days. He's going to be 26 this year. How much better is he going to get? And that's what we're about to find out. Because I'll tell you right now, if he just stays like this the rest of his career, he's going to have a long career. I mean, if he doesn't get any better and he's exactly like he was last year, that's starting caliber. That will get you paid. You'll be around 10 years. But if he gets better, we could be talking about some other things. So look, obviously, good athlete, not an elite athlete. He is limited by that, but he could get better. We're going to find out. I think, you know, all in all, I'm pretty excited to have him back. I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I do have videos out there supporting moving on from him. And it wasn't necessarily just for him. It was moving on for, you know, a long-term asset. If they couldn't bring him back for whatever reason, you go out and you get, you know, Tyron Smith, kind of like the Andrew Whitworth move. But I think really the point was, if the Rams could go up and get Joe Alt, if the Rams could get Olu Fashanu, okay, if they could do that, they could get one of those game changers at tackle, okay, then I would have understood moving on from Alaric Jackson. Those are my thoughts. I felt this is a great tackle class. Fuaga, okay, Latham. I really like this tackle class. The Rams evidently didn't like it as much as some of the other guys they got. So that's that, you know, and I like Alaric Jackson. I've talked to Alaric Jackson. I like the guy. And I like stories like this coming from UDFA to becoming a starter. So we're going to see this year. I do think he takes a decent step. I mean, there's not really much like you can do projecting wise, but I'll say this. These 39 pressures he gave up last year, I'll say he cuts it down to 30, maybe even 28, we'll say. If he does that, that's a hell of a job. Maybe he gives up one more sack. Only giving up one sack is pretty crazy. The most important thing to me, though, for an offensive lineman, obviously, is protecting the quarterback. The second most important thing is making sure you're not beating your offense over the head. If your offense is constantly blowing up the field and having 20 and 30 and 40-yard plays, and you're canceling them out with penalties, you're a problem, right? And so Alaric Jackson and Rob Havenstein tied with only 3 penalties on the year. This is a very disciplined offensive line. They've been that way, and I think it's going to stay that way with Jonah Jackson, who we'll talk about in the next video. But, all in all, I'm excited. I like the discipline. I like the growth. And Alaric Jackson is good enough to win a Super Bowl with. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. Do the Rams have an elite top 5 tackle? No. But top 15, top 20? Yes, and that's pretty much all you need when you have a really good quarterback that can maneuver the pocket the way Matthew Stafford can. Those are my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next one will be our newcomer, Jonah Jackson, who I'm very excited to talk about. For those of you asking why I don't have film on here, because I am not trying to get a copyright strike and be suspended from making YouTube videos for a week. The last one I had, and I figured I would put this out there, the last time I had a copyright claim, they actually tried to strike my account. So I don't know if I've made that clear, but they did. And so I actually, because I've stayed, on the, the flat, I don't know what to call it, the narrow, whatever the good thing is, because I've been good, right? And I haven't done anything that would break YouTube code of conduct. They gave me a warning. You only get 3 strikes and then they delete your account. They gave me a warning, okay? Now the warning's gone. The next one will be a strike. I will be suspended for a week, And so I'm just trying not to get into that. So I understand you guys like the film. I have to be, this is a big part of my living, and I can't just not post videos for a week. It would kill me. So I appreciate you guys. And again, sorry I can't post those out there. I've seen your comments, so I figured I'd address it because I know you guys are watching. But until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.